You see, when a woman is in love but afraid to show it, her body might try to hide it, but her eyes will always betray her. There's a certain softness, a lingering moment when her eyes meet yours. And in that silence, you feel something. It's not always loud or obvious, but it's consistent. Every time you talk, there's this gentle attentiveness in her gaze that holds onto your words just a little longer than necessary. She may pretend she's not listening with her full heart, but her eyes are already a step ahead of her mouth. It's often in those quiet, unguarded moments, when she thinks you're not looking, that the truth peeks through. You might catch her watching you when you're focused on something else. Not in a creepy way, no, but in that gentle, admiring way that someone who cares deeply might look at someone they're trying not to fall for. Or worse, someone they've already fallen for, but are doing everything they can to hide it. Sometimes it happens in conversation. You crack a joke, and before she laughs, her eyes light up like she's been waiting to hear that sound from you. Or maybe you open up about something serious, and while she keeps her words measured, her eyes go soft. You can tell she's feeling everything with you, even if her lips never speak a single word about it. And then there are those moments of sudden eye contact that linger. You're talking, maybe even joking around, and all of a sudden, you both lock eyes, and it lasts a second too long. That split second holds 1,000 unsaid things. She looks away quickly, maybe pretending to fix her hair or picking up her phone just to break the tension. But the moment already happened, and that moment tells you more than she ever will with words. Her eyes are where her guard drops first. Because while we can train ourselves to hold back our touch, our words, and even our time, the eyes don't lie. They reflect everything we try to bury. That's where you'll see the real her. The version of her that longs to be honest, to love freely, but is still figuring out how safe that would be with you. Because let's be honest, love, when it's uncertain, can feel like the most dangerous emotion in the world. And for her, maybe it's not that she doesn't want to show it. Maybe she's had her heart broken before. Maybe she's afraid of not being enough. Or maybe she just hasn't seen the kind of love she can trust yet. So she holds it in. She smiles when you look away. She watches you when you're not paying attention. And when your eyes meet hers, it's like the entire world pauses for a second. That's not just attraction. That's emotion quietly screaming from the inside. So if you really want to know how she feels, stop focusing only on her words or actions. Pay attention to her eyes. Because when love is too scary to speak, it almost always finds its way to the surface through the silence of a gaze. One of the most confusing signs that a woman loves you but is scared to show it is when she's always around, always present in your life, but never quite lets you in. It's this delicate dance she plays, showing up for you in all the important ways, being emotionally available just enough for you to feel her presence, but never stepping close enough to risk being exposed. She'll laugh with you, share pieces of herself, support your dreams, and maybe even flirt a little. But the moment the conversation gets too deep or the connection too intense, she'll pull away. Sometimes subtly, sometimes abruptly, but always just enough to remind you that there's a wall you haven't been invited to cross. And it's not because she's playing games or trying to manipulate you. That's not what this is. This is fear, real, raw, deep-seated fear. She's afraid of what it might mean if she completely lets go, afraid of what would happen if she let you see every part of her, especially the parts she's worked so hard to protect. There's a vulnerability that comes with love, especially the kind that feels risky. And for her, the risk is everything. Because once she opens that door, she knows there's no turning back. So instead, she stays in this strange middle ground, close enough to feel you, far enough to stay safe. You'll notice it in the way she's always available to help when you need her. She'll offer advice, stand by your side, even go out of her way to make sure you're okay. She invests time and energy into your world. But the moment you try to turn the spotlight on her, to go beyond the surface and understand what's really going on inside, she changes the subject. Or maybe she gives you a smile and says, "It's nothing," even when you know it's everything. She wants to be there for you, but she's not quite ready to let you be there for her. There's also this pattern. She'll get close, really close, to the point where it feels like something's about to shift. Like maybe she's ready to admit how she feels. But just when you start to believe the moment is finally here, she'll retreat. Maybe she becomes cold. Maybe she pulls back emotionally. Maybe she even disappears for a little while. And you're left wondering what went wrong. But nothing went wrong. In fact, something was going very, very right. And that's what scared her. You see, when a woman has deep feelings she's not ready to face, she doesn't always shut you out entirely. She doesn't disappear forever. She keeps showing up. She stays within reach because some part of her is still hoping you'll see through the walls. Still hoping you'll understand that the distance she creates isn't because she doesn't care. It's because she cares more than she knows how to admit. And she's not just protecting herself from you. She's protecting herself from the version of herself that might crumble if this love doesn't go the way she hopes. So don't be fooled by the mixed signals. Her presence in your life is intentional. If she didn't feel something, she wouldn't bother. But when a woman loves you and is afraid, she'll stay close enough to feel your warmth, but never quite step fully into the fire. Not yet. Not until she knows she won't get burned. One of the clearest and yet most overlooked signs that she loves you, but is scared to show it, is how she responds when she senses competition. It's not always loud or obvious. It's rarely dramatic. In fact, most of the time, she'll pretend it doesn't bother her at all. But deep down, her jealousy speaks volumes, even when her words don't. You might mention another woman casually in a story, or maybe you receive a call or message while you're with her. And just for a moment, something shifts. Her tone flattens. Her energy dips. She suddenly seems distracted, or she brushes it off with a joke that doesn't quite land right. That's not just a random reaction. That's emotional turbulence masked as nonchalance. She won't come out and ask you who the woman is or what she means to you. That would reveal too much. That would open the door to emotions she's not ready to admit. But you'll feel it. You'll sense the tension in her body language, the way her smile tightens just a bit, or the way she withdraws, even if it's only for a few minutes. These are quiet signs of possessiveness, signs of an internal struggle, because while her heart wants to claim you, her mind is telling her to stay composed, to stay safe. And this isn't about immaturity or insecurity in the way people often assume. It's not that she doesn't trust you or that she wants control. It's that she cares so deeply and yet doesn't feel like she has the right to show it. Because in her mind, if she hasn't officially confessed her feelings, she has no claim. She knows it would be strange to get upset about a woman you have every right to talk to. So instead, she bottles it up. She pretends it doesn't affect her, but it does. You'll also notice her reaction when another woman gives you attention in front of her. Maybe someone compliments you or flirts just a little too obviously. She'll laugh it off or act indifferent, but inside, it stings. It stings because she wants to be the one who gets to love you openly. It stings because she's fighting a war between emotion and restraint. And sometimes, that inner conflict shows itself through sarcasm, teasing, or even sudden silence. Pay close attention to those moments. They say more than she ever will. And maybe she tries to hide it by subtly shifting the focus. She changes the topic. She steers the conversation in another direction. Or she tries to re-establish her position in your life without directly confronting what made her uncomfortable. She might suddenly remind you of a moment you shared, something that connects just the two of you. Or maybe she throws in a compliment, masked as a casual remark. These are her small, silent ways of reclaiming her emotional territory without ever admitting it exists. What you need to understand is that jealousy, when it comes from a place of unspoken love, isn't always about wanting to control you. It's about fear, fear of being replaced, fear of being too late, fear that someone else might give you the courage she's still trying to find. She doesn't want to lose something she never even got the chance to have. That's the kind of quiet pain that comes with loving in silence. So when you notice that shift in her energy, that flicker of unease when another woman enters the picture, don't just ignore it. Don't chalk it up to coincidence. Because sometimes the loudest sign that she loves you is in the way she tries so hard to pretend she doesn't care. One of the most revealing signs that a woman loves you, even if she's too scared to show it, is how well she remembers the things you say. The small things. The things you don't even expect anyone to remember. See, when a woman is emotionally invested in you, her mind becomes like a collection of your stories. She listens differently, not just to respond or to be polite, but to understand you, to connect with you, even if she's doing it from behind the safety of emotional distance. She might not tell you how she feels, but it'll show in the way she recalls that one movie you said you loved when you were younger, or how she brings up that snack you said your mom used to pack for you as a kid. She'll remember how you like your coffee, the artist you said you play on repeat when you're stressed, and even the way you said you feel awkward in crowds. And she'll bring these things up at the most unexpected moments, sometimes casually, like it's no big deal. But to you, it should be a clue, because people don't remember details like that unless they care. That level of attentiveness doesn't come from obligation. It comes from affection. When a woman is drawn to you, even if she's keeping those feelings under wraps, she holds on to the pieces of you that matter to her. That's her way of keeping you close, even when she hasn't found the words or the courage to tell you what's really in her heart. She might act like she's indifferent, like she's just being friendly, but her memory of you tells a different story. It's personal. It's thoughtful. It's quietly intentional. And sometimes she'll even act like she forgot something obvious, like your birthday or a big moment, just to avoid showing too much. But then she'll surprise you by referencing something much smaller, more intimate, that you only mentioned in passing weeks ago. That's not forgetfulness. That's strategy. Because when a woman is scared to show her feelings, she finds subtle ways to express them without risking exposure. She communicates in actions, in timing, in those small nods to moments that made her feel something deeper. There's something powerful about the way love makes us pay attention. And for her, even if she's not ready to open up, the care is already there. It lives in her observations, in her ability to notice when your mood is off, when your voice sounds different, or when you say you're okay but don't really mean it. She's tuned in, quietly taking notes, because your well-being matters to her more than she's letting on. What's even more telling is that she doesn't do this for everyone. That kind of detail, that kind of emotional memory, it's reserved for someone who's occupying a space in her heart, and she may never say it out loud. She might play it cool, keep the conversation light, and hide behind a wall of casual interactions. But her memory will give her away. Because when someone remembers your small truths, the little things that even you forgot you shared, that's not just kindness. That's care. That's love, disguised in the safest way. She knows how to show it. So if you've ever wondered whether she feels something deeper, don't just listen to what she says. Watch what she remembers. Because when words are too risky, memory becomes her way of holding on to you. Sometimes the love that's hardest to see is the kind that works quietly in the background. When a woman loves you but is scared to show it, she won't always put her feelings on display. She won't always shout her affection from the rooftops or make grand gestures. But what she will do is support you from the shadows. She'll be there in ways you might not even notice at first. Behind every small word of encouragement, every check, in every piece of advice, there's a quiet kind of love that's growing, even if she's doing everything in her power to keep it hidden. She won't make a big show of what she does for you. In fact, she may downplay her efforts or act like it was no big deal. But you'll start to realize that she always knows when to step in, when to offer comfort, and when to just be there without asking for anything in return. It's almost like she's become this steady presence in your life, someone you know you can count on, even if you've never had a conversation about what that really means. Maybe she sends you a message when you've had a tough day, or she remembers an important deadline you mentioned in passing and checks in to see how it went. Maybe she's the one who encourages you to keep going when you feel like giving up, or reminds you of your strengths when you forget them yourself. She might not come out and say, "I love you," but in these quiet, consistent ways, she's saying it over and over again. Just not with words. That's what makes it so easy to miss sometimes. Because we're often taught to look for love in loud, obvious forms. In passion, in declarations, in drama. But some of the deepest love exists in subtle acts. In support that asks for nothing back. In someone choosing to stand by you without ever demanding a title or recognition. And when a woman is scared to show how she really feels, that's exactly how she loves. From the background, where it's safe, where she doesn't have to risk rejection or vulnerability, but still gets to be close enough to care. It's selfless, really. Because she's investing her time, her energy, her heart, without expecting you to read between the lines. And even if it hurts her to hold it in, she does it anyway. Because love like that isn't about control or attention. It's about genuinely wanting to see you thrive. To see you win, even if she's not standing next to you when you do. And sometimes it's not just emotional support, it's practical things too. She'll offer help when she knows you need it. She'll send a resource, a contact, or an opportunity your way, just to make your life easier. She pays attention to the things that matter to you and finds ways to contribute without ever making it about herself. She's there in your corner, in the quietest but most meaningful way. And it's in those moments when you start to realize just how often she's been there for you, how much she's done without fanfare, that the truth becomes hard to ignore. This isn't just kindness. It's not just friendship. It's love. Love that's cautious. Love that's quietly protective. Love that's waiting to feel safe enough to step out of the shadows. So if you've been asking yourself whether she feels something deeper, ask yourself this. Who's been rooting for you all along, even when she had every reason to walk away? Because sometimes the one who supports you the most is the one who's just been waiting for the right moment to stop hiding. For a woman who's scared to show her feelings, maintaining emotional control is her safety net. She keeps her walls high, her tone measured, her boundaries in place. She might joke, tease, talk, and even flirt a little, but always within limits she quietly enforces. And yet, no matter how strong her guard is, you'll start to see tiny cracks. These little accidental moments where the truth slips through before she can stop it. And those moments, They speak louder than anything she's trying to hide. It could be something she says without thinking, maybe a compliment that sounds a little too personal, too affectionate, and the moment it's out of her mouth, you see her pause, backtrack, or brush it off like it meant nothing. But the way she said it, the softness in her voice, the look in her eyes, you know it meant something. Or maybe it's a text she sends late at night, one that reads like vulnerability finally got the best of her. And then a few minutes later, another message comes through. Ignore that. I didn't mean it. But she did. She just panicked because that message exposed a feeling she wasn't ready to admit. There are also moments when her concern slips through, unfiltered. You might be going through something difficult, and she tries to play it cool. But her words are more tender than usual, her voice a little more careful, and her presence suddenly more consistent. She might not say, "I'm worried about you," but you feel it. In the way she checks in more often, in the way she listens just a little more closely. She wants to be there for you, but at the same time, she's battling the fear of becoming too emotionally available, too obvious, too exposed. That internal conflict is what defines this kind of love. She's in a constant tug-of war with herself. One part of her wants to let go, to let you see her, to stop pretending. But the other part is terrified that if she reveals how deeply she feels, everything will change, that she'll lose control, that you might not feel the same. So she hides. But no matter how hard she tries, love has a way of slipping through the cracks. It always does. You'll also notice these moments in her eyes, her expressions, her energy. When you're close to her, sometimes she looks at you like you're everything. But the moment you notice, she looks away. She switches the topic. She makes a joke to ease the tension. That's the love she's not ready to say out loud, showing up anyway. Because love doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It just appears, quietly, unexpectedly, and often inconveniently for someone who's trying so hard to keep it contained. And sometimes her silence says even more than her words ever could. Like when something you say clearly affects her, but she doesn't respond. Or when you open up to her and she just listens, deeply, fully, but doesn't reveal anything about herself in return. That's not because she doesn't trust you. It's because she doesn't trust herself not to say too much. Because deep down, she knows that once she starts, she won't be able to hide it anymore. So pay attention to those slips, the unintentional softness, the accidental honesty, the vulnerability that sneaks out before she can stop it. That's where her real feelings live. Not in the words she carefully chooses, but in the moments that catch her off guard. Because when love is buried under fear, it still finds a way to surface, even if just for a second. And if you're truly watching, that second is all you'll need to know.